Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be here with you today. The presentation itself will not take a long time. We understand you're very busy, and we want to give you as much time back as possible, but it is designed to give you as much information about this course as we possibly can, and give you the opportunity to ask us any questions at the end of the session. So as Adam mentioned, we're looking at the Graduate Diploma Education Early Childhood, and I will go through some of the key components of that course first. So this is a one-year course, completed within 12 months. There is a placement requirement for the course. Now, the course itself is an on-campus course. It is conducted face-to-face. However, there is the option for students to join classes online. So you can attend lectures online, even though the course itself is face-to-face. However, the placements are mandatory placements and must be undertaken face-to-face. These are done in an early childhood setting, and the placements will be for 60 days over that 1 year period. Now, not 60 days all at once. You will do two separate mandatory placements in two separate settings. The first will be an infant and toddler setting. So you will be dealing with babies and very young children in that placement, and a preschool setting. So these will be slightly older children, but still younger than school age. So two mandatory placements will be required as part of the course, totaling 60 days or 480 hours. It is really important that you understand the placements are mandatory. You must do the placements. You cannot pass the course without passing the placement. If you miss your first placement, you are not able to go on to the next part of the course. The placements are arranged by the university. You are not required to arrange those placements yourself. We will have placement officers arranging those for you, and you will be required to attend the placement at the childcare centre arranged by the university. The regulatory requirements for the course are also mandatory. So the primary one is that all applicants for this course must provide a valid working with children's check prior to attending the professional placement. Now, we strongly recommend that you apply for your working with children check as soon as possible. It can take a number of weeks for that working with children check to be processed and finalized. Obviously, the working with children check is a national check, so the government will need to check with different states, and this can take some time. So a working with children's check must be provided before you will be allowed to attend your first placement. So again, please apply for that working with children check immediately to ensure that you can provide that on time to commence. Also required is that all professional experience learning hours must be completed. So you must complete the full 480 hours of mandatory professional placement. And you must at all times demonstrate professional behavior and conduct in those placements. So you will be monitored for your professionalism and conduct. Again, remembering that this course will have you caring for very young children and babies. So there are obviously strong regulatory requirements around that to ensure the safety of the children and also for your own sake as well. The fees for the course currently are $29,400, which is $3,675 per unit, minus any scholarship that you have been granted. So your scholarship will be listed on your offer letter. There are 10 units in the course, including the 2 professional units. So you have 8 core units of study and 2 units of professional placement. As I said, 1 in the infant and toddler setting and 1 in the preschool setting. That is a total of 96 credit points for the course. And the professional experience units do not carry credit points. So the credit points are only based on the academic units of the course. So that is the basic detail of the course. The IELTS requirement, this course requires a slightly higher IELTS requirement. It is IELTS 6.5 with no band less than 6.5, or PTE 58 with no band less than 58, completed within the last 2 years, or completion of an Australian bachelor degree or higher. So if you have already completed a bachelor degree or a master's degree in Australia, you will meet the English requirement without having to provide another IELTS or PTE test. The academic entry requirements are completion of a bachelor degree, and this is any Australian bachelor degree at AQF level or equivalent. So if you have completed a bachelor degree in your home country and that bachelor degree is assessed as equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree, you will meet the requirement. Some students who have been onshore for a long time may have completed a diploma in early childhood education and care. If you have completed that course in Australia and you have a minimum of 5 years relevant work experience within the last 5 years in an Australian early childhood setting, you will also meet the entry requirements. Now, most international students will not meet that second requirement and will meet it through completion of their bachelor or master's degree. Again, as Adam mentioned, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat box as you think of them, and we will answer those at the end of the session. The course structure is as follows. So you can see very clearly the 8 academic units in black. So we have early childhood matters, principles and practices in early childhood education, theory to practice, competency and capability of preschoolers, children, families and communities, curriculum studies in early childhood, play and pedagogies in early childhood education, leadership and advocacy in early childhood, and theory to practice, education and care for infants and toddlers. The 2 units highlighted in red are the professional experience units, which I've already said will total 60 days across the 12 months of your course. So that is the structure. The units are set out in such a way that you should follow the unit structure to ensure that you meet the requirements of the course. When you come for orientation, you will be assisted at orientation to enroll into your units to ensure that you are enrolling into the correct units and following the correct progression. Special conditions for this course. So Generally speaking, this course is only available to onshore international students who hold a relevant student visa and can complete this course within the duration of that student visa without having to apply for a new student visa or without downgrading their studies. So in other words, if you are currently on a student visa studying a master's degree in a different discipline, so let's say you're studying an MBA, and you decide you no longer want to study that MBA and you want to transfer to the graduate diploma of education on your student visa, we would not be able to accept you because you are downgrading your course from a master's degree to a graduate diploma in a different field of study. However, if you are currently studying a master's in education, and you decide you want to downgrade to the graduate diploma, we would accept you in that situation because even though you are downgrading in the same field of study. You are still in education. Now, most students doing this course will be students who are on a current 485 temporary graduate visa. So students on a 485 visa with sufficient duration remaining to enable them to complete the course will be accepted. So if you're on a 485 visa and you can finish this course within the duration of your 485 visa, or if you are eligible to apply for another 485 visa, we can accept you. We cannot accept students transferring from a 485 visa to a student visa. Immigration has advised that they are making changes to the migration regulations to prevent a student changing back from a 485 visa to a student visa. If you have been on a 485 visa and that 485 visa is going to expire before you complete your course, and you are not eligible to apply for an extension on your 485 visa, we cannot issue a COE for you to apply for a new student visa. So you must either have a student visa that allows you to complete within that duration, or a 485 visa that will allow you to complete within the duration. Now, recently we've had confirmation about students on a 408 visa. That was the old COVID visa. The 408 visa has been disbanded. It is no longer a valid visa to apply for, but there are still many students in Australia holding a 408 visa. A student holding a 408 visa is eligible to apply for this course. However, they must meet the full genuine student requirement. This means even though you are an onshore student, we must treat you as an offshore student and will require you to provide a written genuine student statement explaining why you want to study this course. That may be difficult if you have completed a Master of Information Technology. Immigration will question your reasons for wanting to now study a graduate diploma in early childhood, because there is no direct relationship between your previous study. However, you can apply. And if you are able to explain clearly why this course will advantage your future, you may be accepted. But ideally, Students in this course would be on a student visa or a 485 visa. Students on a working holiday visa are also eligible to apply for the course, but the same conditions will apply as they do for the 408 visa, and we will need to assess you and ensure that you meet the genuine student requirements. So those are the visa requirements there. The graduate outcomes. So the Australian government is currently overhauling the occupations that will be on the new core skills occupations list, or CSOL. Now, the list has not yet been finalised. However, the draft document has been publicly released, and early childhood education is on the draft CSOL confident on list. What this means is that early childhood education remains a high priority course for the Australian government, and it is very unlikely that it will be removed from the core skills occupations list when the list is updated. There is a link there that you can go to check that out for yourselves. So feel free to take a photo of the screen with that link. But I've also put a screenshot of that on the next page, which is here. So you can see here, this is Jobs and Skills Australia, the Australian Government Department. This is the draft CSOL confident on list. And you can see down the bottom here, early childhood teacher is an occupation that is still listed on this CSOL. So the potential graduate outcomes for graduates of this course are very strong, and there is still a strong potential for migration outcomes with this course as it currently sits on the list. For those of you who are not aware or have not yet joined SC United, we strongly encourage you to do so as soon as possible. SC United is our online international student community. It is a place that we connect with you and provide you essential information prior to your enrollment at Southern Cross University. There's a lot of information on the site. The types of information we will give you are information about visas, applying for visas, and particularly for the Graduate Diploma of Education, we have special interest groups that are set up in there where you can interact with other students in that course, as well as academic and placement staff. These groups will become more and more active as we get closer to the intake, and more information will be put in there. There is currently information in those groups about the Working with Children's Check, for example. So we strongly encourage you to join that community as soon as possible. You should have received an invitation to join that already. You do not need to have accepted your offer to join SC United. As long as you have an offer, you can join. I'm going to give you the option now. There is a QR code. If you scan that QR code, it will take you through to SC United. If you have not yet signed up, please scan the QR code now and do so. Scanning that will take you through to the site where you will be prompted to create a profile and join the site. Once you have submitted your application to join that site, you will be approved and will then be able to start interacting on that site with us. I can't stress strongly enough how important it is Currently, some students are required to undergo an interview to join the Graduate Diploma of Education Early Childhood. If you are required to do an interview, we will notify you at the point of offer. Another really good reason for joining SC United is that we have given you some very important interview tips. We will go through the questions that you will be asked in that interview and explain to you what we are looking for. So it is in your best interest to join SC United, to read the information about the interview. Even if you're not required to do an interview, reading through those questions and getting an understanding of what we're asking will also give you a strong idea about what is involved in the course and what you will be expected to know as part of that course. So I'd strongly recommend everyone read that, even if you have not been asked to do an interview. If you are asked to do an interview and you fail the interview, we cannot proceed with your application. It means you have failed the admission requirement for the course. So reading through that information on the interview before you do the interview is absolutely essential. So please, again, I'll just leave the screen up for a moment longer. Please scan that QR code and join SC United if you haven't already. As I said, you do not need to have accepted your offer. We encourage you to join SC United just with your offer. That will give you a lot of information that will help you make up your mind about the course, about Southern Cross University, so that you feel more comfortable to accept your offer. That is really the end of the presentation. So we will open up to questions now, and I'll pass back to Adam.
Good one. Thanks, John. A lot of useful information there. So we do have one question that's come in here from Gaurav Chawla. So Gaurav's question is, when can we start working as an educator? Can we also complete our placement during that job? Along with that, can we also select our placement center by our own within the time period given? So I think you might have answered some of that.
Yes, so I'll answer the last bit first. No, you cannot select your own placement. The reason for that is there are very strong compliance requirements for placements. The university must be assured that the placement centre is a registered childcare centre, that they meet all of the government child safe legislation, all of this sort of thing. So the university will choose the centre for you. The university does have an obligation to ensure that your placement is within a reasonable distance from where you live. So you will not be expected to travel for 2 hours to get to your placement. They will place you as close as possible to where you currently live. The first part of the question, when can we start working as an educator and can we also complete our placement during that job? There's two parts to that. So when can you start working as an educator? You cannot start working as an educator until you are qualified with the graduate diploma. You can work on placement as part of that course, but you are not being employed as an educator. You will be on a compulsory placement as part of your course. If you already have a job in a childcare centre, you may be able to apply to the university for permission to complete your placement in that centre. but it is not guaranteed. So we're not saying you can choose your own placement. It would only apply if you are already working in a childcare placement setting, and you apply to have that childcare centre recognised. You may be able to do your placement there, in which case you would be completing your placement at the place where you work. But that would be the only circumstance in which that would be permitted.
So John, actually I'm having a question here, follow-up. So until I finish the whole diploma, like after 1 year, in the time period, like after 3 months and starting my placements, I cannot work as an educator?
You don't qualify as an educator because you don't have a qualification in the field. That doesn't mean that you can't work in a childcare centre, but you won't be a qualified educator, if that makes sense. So a childcare centre may employ you as a worker in their centre, but you would not be a qualified educator until you had completed the course. Does that answer your question?
So we're talking here about two things. One, I'm doing this diploma to be an early childhood teacher.
Yes.
And then there's an educator below that.
Yeah, so being an educator, you still need to have completed the qualification of the course to be a recognised educator. However, as I said, you can be employed by a childcare centre before you complete the qualification. What they call you is up to them. Some childcare centres may call you an educator, some may call you a teacher's assistant. It depends on the centre and the state and wherever you may be. So from that perspective, yes, you can work as an educator if your child care centre allows that.
I understand that, but is university provide with us with any document after 3 months, after 6 months that you have done till this courses and then now you can do your placement or even work in childcare?
No, you would get your transcripts. So after you successfully complete your units, you would get access to your official transcripts, but you wouldn't receive a qualification until you've completed the course.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
John.
My pleasure. Any other questions from anyone?
Maybe let's just maybe check in with Laura in Sydney. Laura, are there any other questions that you're receiving from students that you think might be useful to cover here?
Yes, I think I've got a question regarding the placement. So about how many days, whether they can do part-time placement or full-time, the placement arrangements. John, do you have any?
Yeah, so we're not able to answer that at this point because that will be up to the placement officers. My understanding is that placements are full-time, but as I said, we won't know until the student is actually placed.
Yeah, so from the study plan that I've seen, the 20 days placement is spreading between 2 semesters.
Yes.
So I think there will be a variety of different arrangements. That's what to my understanding, and depending on the arrangement from the childcare center as well. Some may provide 2 days a week, or some might have 3 days.
That's
probably
correct.
depending on individual childcare centers.
That's
Is that
right.
correct?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We can't give an indication of that until the student has been placed.
Right. Yeah.
You are right though. There's a total of 60 days placement, which are not all done at once. They're done over the 2 semesters of the course.
Mhm.
There's another question there related to that, John, which is from Carrie Zhu. When will the first placement be, and can that possibly be delayed to the following semester?
So the first placement will be in your first semester of study. So generally you would have 2 units that you would study first and then a placement. It is not advisable that you delay the placement to the following semester, because that will delay your completion of the course. The course is very structured, and you have to complete certain units and your first placement before you can go on and do the next units and the final placement. So the faculty strongly recommends that you follow the progression as outlined, and that you should be doing your first placement in your first semester of study.
Gotcha. All right. There's another one there from Peugeot. I think I mispronounced that, but when can I choose the course, and how many courses will be in each semester? So I think that's referring to the units. So when do they choose the units they're going to study, and how many will they do in each semester?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, this course is very structured. So you don't essentially choose the units. The units are compulsory. You will enroll into those units at orientation. So when you come in for orientation, there will be an enrollment session where you will sit with the relevant academic staff, and they will advise you which units to enroll into. As I said, there's a total of 8 academic units. Now, Southern Cross University works on a term basis, not a semester basis. So you would complete generally 2 units each term. So if you're talking semester, that is 4 units in a semester in one half of the year, and 4 units in the second half of the year. Exactly how you manage that enrollment, there's a little bit of flexibility about that. If there are units available in non-compulsory terms, you might decide to do 1 unit in your first term, 2 units in your second term, 1 unit in your third term. However it's spaced out, but that depends on unit availability. But essentially, you would do 2 units per term, and then your placement is on top of that.
All right. Very good. John, do you think, would it be useful to briefly describe what happens when a student graduates after the program, after they receive their degree? Are there any kind of visa considerations the students should be thinking about, that they should be planning for as they get ready for their course, do you think?
Well, that'll depend on the individual circumstances, but I'm assuming that most students are considering this course because you've already investigated your post-study visa options, and you are looking at permanent residence and the additional points that the graduate diploma in education can provide you in helping you meet those requirements. So no, there's not really anything in particular to look out for, other than, as I said before, the graduate outcomes for this course are strong. There is high demand for early childhood teachers, and we at this point we see no changes coming to the occupations list and the points available from this course in the foreseeable future.
Good one. There's a question there from Mr. Shoaib Hassan. For assessment, can I use my bachelor's degree? It was done in Pakistan, but the degree is from Oxford Brookes in the UK.
Yes, so if the bachelor degree is assessed as equivalent to an Australian degree, and I'm guessing if it is a UK institution, that would qualify. But without looking at your specific case, I can't tell you for sure. But yes, an offshore bachelor degree would be recognised. However, if you are currently in Australia, we would also need to see your qualifications from Australia, because that would also help you meet the English language requirement. If you've completed a qualification in Australia, you meet the English language requirement without having to provide another IELTS test.
Okay, good one. We seem to have come to the end of the questions there. So we will be able to share a recording of this webinar when we wrap it up today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us as well. You have our email address from the invitation. But yeah, thank you all for joining. I think that's it from our side. Is there anything else you'd like to add there to wrap up, John?
No, not really. Just again, please, if you have not yet signed up for SC United, please do so. You will find a lot of really important information in there, and it will really help you prepare well for this course. I can already see that one of you has just signed up, so thank you for that, and your membership has just been approved, so you'll be able to access SC United now, and you can contact us directly in there if you have any questions about the course or anything else. Feel free to ask your question in the particular group. It might just help very quickly if I just share my screen with you for a brief moment and show you what I'm talking about. So when you log into SC United, hopefully you can see that there. You will see the Graduate Diploma of Education Early Childhood groups are down here. So we can see for term 3, when you sign up to the SC United, you will be asked to choose the term that you are commencing the graduate diploma, term 3, term 4, or term 5. And you will automatically be assigned to the group. When you go into that group, you will see other members of the group, and you will be able to access the information that is being provided in there. As I said, as we get closer to the intake, you will see a lot more information being provided in the groups by the relevant academic and placement staff. So it is well worth joining up to as soon as possible.
All right. And John, in terms of accepting the offers, I think everyone on the call, some of you still have live offer letters. The acceptances are closing in the next couple of weeks for the upcoming term 3 intake. Maybe, John, could you just recap what's required in order to accept? There's a deposit and anything else that the students need to do?
No, as long as there are no conditions on your offer. Now, some of you are completing a current degree and you are waiting for your current results this semester. So if you have a condition on your offer, you cannot accept until you meet that condition. So when you get your results from the current semester in your current university, please get your agent to send them to us immediately so we can lift the condition and you can accept your offer. If you have no conditions, it is as simple as completing the acceptance section of your offer letter. So in your offer package, right down the bottom, you will see the acceptance section. You need to fill that in, make sure that it is signed and dated, and that you follow the payment instructions to pay your deposit. Once the deposit has been paid, we will admit you into the course and notify your agent that your acceptance has been finalized and you're ready for enrollment. After that point, you will start receiving emails from us about inviting you to attend orientation and this type of thing.
All right, good one. Okay, thank you very much, John, for the presentation, and thank you to all the students for attending. We look forward to seeing you in Sydney or Melbourne for the upcoming intakes, but please do remember to accept your offer as soon as you can, start getting organised to study, and we look forward to seeing you on campus. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.